Here's my truth. Sometimes I can be so stressed that I feel like my body is not connected to my mind anymore. I feel like my mind kind of leaves my body. I'm no longer connected to my physical body anymore. Honestly, that's not what I want. I want to be the kind of person that is able to feel stressed, see the stress signals come up, and choose whether or not I want to respond, how I want to respond with the stress. Do I want to ride the wave because I need that pump and that energy and I need to do something about the situation and I need that stress? Or sometimes I'm in a situation where I don't need that extra pump and I need to tell my body to calm down and reconnect. Now, that's easily said, but the reality is when I'm in that stress response mode, it's very difficult to tell my mind to come back to my body, to come back to my senses and be grounded again. It's very difficult, but we're going to try to come up with something because I figure out how to win my hardest inner battles. And then I give you the exact tools so you can win yours. Let's lock in. So what we're going to do is create an exercise. We're going to use the Empowered Living 5-step framework. Step 1 is to see differently. How can I look at my mind disconnecting from my body in a completely different way? What does that even mean? And then step 2 is to do something differently. What can I do differently when I'm in a high and intense stress response? What can I do that's completely different that's going to help me respond in a different way? And then in step 3, we're going to think about our past behavior. How did we do this in the past? And then step 4 is imagining a better self. What would a better version of me look like if I was better at managing my stress responses when I feel like my mind is disconnected from my body and I need to come back to my senses? And then in step 5, we're going to create one small win that we can win today, something that we know that we could do and that we would do. So let's get started. We're going to call it Breathe Like Somebody Who Wants to Live. The reason for this title is when I'm in a high stress response, when I'm in an intense high stress response, my breath becomes pretty much shallow and I breathe in a completely different way. And the reason for that is because my body is so triggered that it believes that something dangerous is happening. But most of the time, it's not something dangerous is happening to me. It is most of the time it's just perceived danger. My body gets a signal that something dangerous might be happening. But it's not true. That's what I'm reacting to. When you look at it differently and you realize that what is simply happening is it's an automatic response. My body is simply running a script to protect me, get ready to engage with the danger or run away or fight. My mind disconnects. My mind leaves my body and now my body is running on autopilot. And that's what's happening to me, and we're going to do something about it. My body is probably thinking something is trying to hurt me and it's trying to protect me. And if you ever felt that way, you're not broken. It's just your body's way to respond to perceived danger. It wants to help you. It wants to protect you. This is your body thinking that you're being chased by a lion and there's danger and it's trying to get you ready to fight mode. You don't need to think right now. I'm going to take over and this is what we're going to do. We're going to get ready to fight or flight or freeze. But most of the time, we don't need that response. So we're going to do something about that. We're going to learn to tell our body that the danger is over or there's not even any danger around me right now. When you are stressed, your body thinks something dangerous is happening. This is a bit too long. We're going to have to make this a bit shorter. So when I get super stressed, my body gets into protect mode. My body is basically like, stop thinking. I'll take over. I got this. But most of the time, it's not necessary for my body to take over and get me out of the situation. Most of the time, it's not that dangerous. It's perceived danger. I'm going to ask myself, when is the last time that I felt so stressed and so overwhelmed that it was already too late? I was already super stressed. We're going to ask ourselves that question. What was the first sign that I missed? There's something that I missed along the way. Now, I'm already stressed out and I'm losing it. My mind disconnects from my body. My body is in auto-protect mode. It takes over. It's like, let me do this. I got this. This is dangerous and I need to go into autopilot. It just runs the auto protect script and you go off. What was the first sign that you missed? Ask yourself, what was the first sign you missed? What did I miss? Typically, it'll be very tight chest, muscles tense up, fast breathing, blank mind, pressure, trouble to concentrate and think, something like that. So we've completed step one in how to see things differently. So stress makes your body think there's danger around you. Your body is like, hey man, something's off here and we need to do something about it. And when you're so stressed and so overwhelmed, it's just going to switch into auto protect mode. And this is a split-second decision. And sometimes it just picks up something before you do. It's going to pick up something so small and so subtle. It could be smell, it could be taste, it could be what I see based on what I remember that was dangerous, something that's hurt me, something that made me feel bad, something that felt embarrassing, something that made me feel little way back when I was much younger. Doesn't matter. My body keeps the score. My body always knows. And so my body is going to go into this auto protect mode. I've seen this before and it hurt us before. Let me take over. Boom. Your body takes over. Your mind leaves. And now you're in auto protect mode and it's just running the script again. And so what we need to ask ourselves, when was the last time you realized you were already overwhelmed and it was already too late? It's the first question. And the second question is, what was the first sign you missed? And it could have been something like your chest that's tense, your muscles tense up, you breathe faster, your mind goes blank, blackout, have a hard time thinking, and then you feel some heat or some pressure or something similar. And these are the signs that we typically miss. That's how you look at your mind leaving your body in a completely different way. We're going to do something about it. Let's go to step two. We're going to do something differently. I don't like it when that happens and I want to do something about it and I'm ready. I'm so ready. So let's do something about it. So today what we're going to do is something completely different. We're going to train our body to come back. I'm going to train my body to come back even when I'm in a very, very high stress response. I'm going to train my body to come back in 3 steps. I'm going to be doing 3 things. I'm going to stop, I'm going to press, and I'm going to return. I'm so overwhelmed and the emotions are high. The pressure is high. I'm going to have to stop for 1 second. The moment I get a glimpse of what is happening, I'm going to try to stop and I'm going to press. The second thing I'm going to do, the press, is basically physically making sure my body feels a signal, a press to tell me to come back. And that has to be physical. So it could be anything. It could be pressing with my feet to the ground. It could be pressing in my palms. It could be touching my chest. But what's important here is that I make sure that I send my body a physical signal to let my body know it's time to come back. Okay, so we're going to stop, press, and come back. So we're going to stop for 1 second. Pause. And you pause. I'm going to pause anything that I'm doing. I'm going to pause anything that I'm doing. Stop it right there. We press my feet into the floor or my palms together. Whatever it is, really press to send a signal. You don't have to exaggerate if the situation isn't requiring an exaggerated press. There's going to be moments where I'm alone and I can just do this dramatic press because I need it. But there's going to be moments where I'm not alone and I don't want people to notice that I'm trying to come back to my senses. So the way that I'm going to handle that particular situation has to be in a way that nobody notices. And this is where things like pressing your feet to the ground, I'm going to know, but nobody else needs to know. But it can be really subtle that people are not going to know. Even if people do know that when you're doing this, you're trying to go back to your senses. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. This would be like my personal way of pressing and coming back and telling my body, pressing really hard and telling my body and giving my body this signal to come back. And people are not going to think that this is some strange thing. People do this all day, every day. This is nothing special. So I'm going to be doing that. Now, as we press, we're going to exhale and say our name and come back. When it's a light press, do a light press maybe for a very light form of stress. Or I could say, take back control when I'm experiencing a high level of stress. So I would do a strong press and really do a firm and strong press to let my body know, hey man, come back. Mind goes back into the body. Or what you can do is always come up with your own phrase on the exhale. You can come up with your own. This is just an example of something that could work. Now we have finalized step 2, which is about doing something differently. And we're going to train our body and mind to return to safety and come back together in 3 steps. And what we're going to do is practice the stop, the press, and come back. And the way I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to stop for 1 second and pause anything that I'm doing, whatever it is. I'm just going to try to pause and stop just for 1 second or 2. It doesn't have to be very long. I'm just going to try to back off a little bit. and I'm going to press, whether I'm in public or alone. I think this is a press that can work for me when I push my palms together, and I'm going to do a light press or a hard press, depending on the level of signal that I have to send to my body to tell my body, you can turn off the auto protect mode and allow me to come back to my senses and be grounded again. And this is how my mind is going to return into my body and I take back control. If I'm having a very high level of stress, I'm going to do the second thing, which is I'm going to exhale when I'm pressing. And when I exhale, I'm going to say, take back control. Chris, I'm going to say my name and say, take back control. It's a stronger statement than come back. In some cases, it's also going to be necessary that I do take back control because I might be on the edge of not being in control anymore. So there's a difference. You're going to want to use the technique, the one that works best for you, depending on the situation. We're going to stop. We're going to press and send a signal to the body to let the body know you can turn off the autopilot mode. And we take a deep breath, take a deep and long breath. And as we exhale, we're going to say, come back when it's a light form of stress. Or what you could do is say, take back control with a hard press to really, really send a firm signal to your body to say, it's over. There's no danger here. We can come back and we can go back to normal, turn off the autopilot, turn off the auto protect mode, and we can move on. Or you can come up with your own phrase on the exhale. This is something that I recommend, but you can come up with your own. You do what's best for you. You come up with your own technique and phrase that you can say on the exhale. You might want to come up with something that you can use in a light situation or in an intense situation. And if you're like me, you want to also come up with something that you can do in public. Like this would be for me a hard press or a light press. People are never going to know. And this is me giving my body a signal to return to safety. You come up with your own. You can do it. Now, step 3, 4, and 5 are always the same. And step 3 is all about noticing my past behavior. I'm going to be doing this exercise and I'll share with you about my past behavior. And yeah, I'm human. And step 4 is all about imagining a better self. What would I be like if I was able to manage my high levels of stress and tell my body to return to safety all by myself? How would that be? I'm going to be describing the kind of person that I think I could be. And then step 5 is creating one small win today. And it has to be so small that it becomes something that you actually could do and something that you would do. And I'm going to be doing this exercise myself for the coming week and coming days. I'm going to share my whole journey with you. I'm going to give you all the details, the good and bad and the ugly. And I'm going to share with you the techniques that I try and develop to send my body a signal that I can return to safety. I'll try to catch one moment that I catch myself going in overdrive and then be able to tell my body, tell myself to return to safety. And I can do it. And I'm going to share my journey. So make sure you tune in for the next episode because I think it's going to be good because I figure out how to win my hardest inner battles. And then I give you the exact tools so you can win yours. My name is Chris Kasonga. Keep living an empowered life.